Fish Baby Daddy here, thinking about, well, running a little low on space, but I still want to get some kind of fry system going for the really small fish that I have that might be coming down the pike here quickly. So I was thinking, what do I do to set that up? Well, this video is about that, and let's get started. So in this back little corner here, I pulled out the actual Daphnia bucket and where I do the baby brine system, and I got just a little bit of room back there. So I was like, well, let me see if I can actually get something to kind of pull together here a little bit, and let's see how it works. Okay, so what I did here is I took a 2x6, and what I did was I cut it up over at Home Depot, and then I was able to nail it together, and so it's about 6 inches off the ground roughly, give or take, and that kind of gives me a little bit of a lift. And then what I'm going to do is, this has just enough dimensions for a 10-gallon tank, and I'm going to put that together for the fry system. So it's a cheap, effective way to kind of get something to lift off the ground, and it's kind of like a mini stand. Okay, this is how it looks with a 10-gallon tank. I got a 10-gallon here. Got that little bit of a lift with that wood platform I made. And so I got this 3D model you can see here. I got this off of Lowell's Fish Lab on Etsy. The Etsy store is called Make More Fish, and I really like this setup. It's very similar to something you would see on Aquarium Co-op on some of his videos with Dean, and it's got a little sponge right here. And so what happens is the water feeds in through here, and it feeds through this back valve right here. And what we do is we just got a little bit of agitation, and we can just keep these fish in here, these little babies, until they get a little bit bigger. And what I'll also do is I'll put an air stone in here as well. Get the air stone to kind of break up the surface a little bit so it's nice, well oxygenated. And I'll actually try to implement that system. And I think it's going to look pretty good. Kind of just want to elaborate on the system a little bit. How it kind of, they give the extended arms. They can kind of reach out different spots. You got some sponges here to avoid any like fry getting out, but it also keeps the water flow going in. You can see there's attachment for a hose right there. Put a hose right there. We'll attach it there on the end of that hard line. But I like the layout of it. I don't really want to get too much light actually on this, guys, because it's going to actually be permanent, or it can be real hard because this white's pretty porous. So I'm not going to worry about getting the light on this at all, but I want to be able to just get some good flow and try to just work on a system that would help with the fry. So I like this little setup. It's very adaptable for other sizes of tanks. And this one's going to be good enough for my 10-gallon here. Okay, a little thought into the configuration a little bit. This is your actual pump right here, my check valve in case the power goes out. And then I have a line that feeds into these two right here. These are actually going to go into the actual tray. They're going to kind of get that circulation going. And then this last one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for the air stone, just so we can actually get a little agitation in the water, so it doesn't actually create a surface like skim or anything like at the top. I want to keep that water flowing a little bit in the tank. And let's try to get this going and see how it looks. Okay, so I got it going a little bit. Got a hard line. I just put a hard line. I tried to get an air stone in here, and the air stone just there wasn't enough pressure, air pressure, so I just put a little hard line in here. Just to get a little bit to break the surface, and that's enough to actually keep it oxygenated a little bit. And there's a little hard line in here, just a little bit light bubbles. And then over here to the right here where I'm pointing at, there's just a little bit of current. I'll make an adjustment there. We don't want it to get too crazy in there because I don't want it to be like a washing machine and stress out the babies. But little babies will go in there, and then we just got a little bit of agitation going on, and just keep that water flowing. It's a nice little setup I was able to put in that back corner. Might get another tray, I don't know, over time, but I think one tray right now is good enough for that 10-gallon, and it suffices for what I'm trying to do. So this is just for like really tiny fry that I might have to pull out of the, from the parents and get them to develop a little bit more before I get them into a grow-out tank. But I think it's a nice little phase into a little more dimension of Fish Baby Daddy.